Hi everyone, welcome back to Selah, taking time out each weekday to pause, catch our breath, draw near to God and refresh our spirits. In today's podcast, I want to talk about grief. I myself am in a bit of a grieving process at the moment. I've got close friends walking through grief with the loss of parents, those who've received a diagnosis that need a miracle, and friends who are suffering loss of another kind. Perhaps you're in the throes of grief yourself in one way, shape or form, or look at the things that are going on around the world and in our own nation that cause your heart to ache with grief. Grief isn't something that we're really brilliant at talking about, really. I'm not even sure I know how to. But as it's close to me at the moment, from personal experience and those around me, I wanted to give a little bit of a space to it, both in what we share today and in the song we listen to at the end.
For when I stop and breathe in your presence, I find that you are the answer. You're all I need. And even when I don't understand, I know I am safe in your hands. Just breathe. Just breathe.
Grief is described as feeling intense sorrow, especially in relation to death. It's something that we're all guaranteed to walk through in life. It's part of the human condition. It's a way that we express and walk out the emotions and feelings that are deep within us. Experiencing grief can be intensely painful, but also a beautiful reminder of what it means to love. We can't have one without the other. I was really struck recently listening to the actor Andrew Garfield speak about his mother who passed away from cancer. And instead of hearing an account from me, let's listen to a clip from his interview with Stephen Colbert.
I know that you yourself have suffered great grief just recently with the loss of your mother, and I'm sorry for your family's loss.
Thank you.
And I'm wondering how doing this show or any show, how art itself helps you deal with grief.
Yeah. I love talking about it, by the way. So if I cry, it's only like, it's only a beautiful thing. This is all the unexpressed love, right? The grief that will remain with us, until we pass, because we never get enough time with each other, right? No matter if someone lives till 60, 15, or 99. So I hope this grief stays with me, because it's all the unexpressed love that I didn't get to tell her. And I told her every day. We all told her every day. She was the best of us.
I love how Andrew describes grief as unexpressed love. I think that's such a perfect description of it. I also remember someone close to me who had lost her husband describing grief to me in terms of a container. She said sometimes it feels like it fills the whole container and there's no escape from it. It's at the forefront of your mind and it's all-consuming. As time elapses, the size changes. It's not all-consuming, but it's still there. There'll be days when it touches the edge of the container and all those overwhelming feelings come back. But there are other days when you know it's present, but it doesn't swallow you up. It's all an ebb and flow. As believers in Jesus, we know this, that we do not grieve without hope. We know that Jesus has conquered sin and death, and that this life we live and have been given is unto something more. Paul talks about this in Thessalonians and the hope that we have in the resurrection. We know that in life we'll walk through pain, grief and suffering, but we have hope at the end of it all, and we know that it will be well. Which leads me on to the song we're going to listen to, It Is Well With My Soul. Do you know it? It's perhaps one of the best known hymns and was written in the late 1800s by Horatio Spafford. The lyrics and the melody alone stand it in good stead as a classic. Beautiful and powerful, but when you know the story behind them, of Horatio's faith in the face of extreme pain, loss, tragedy and grief, we see how the words hold even more weight and power. If you don't know the story of it, let me fill you in. Horatio Gates Spafford was a successful lawyer in Chicago. He was a Christian with a great circle of friends. He was happily married and had 5 children. Life was good. In 1871, though, his life took a turn. His 4-year-old son died, and later in that year he lost his whole fortune in the Great Chicago Fire. thinking a holiday would be chance to recover, he arranged a trip for his family where they would travel by ship to Europe. Pressing business meant Horatio had to stay behind in Chicago. His wife and daughters boarded the ship, and he planned to join them later. En route, the ship collided with another and sank, killing almost everyone on board. Of his family, only Horatio's wife Anna survived. Upon arriving in England, she sent a telegram to her husband that began, "Saved alone. What shall I do?" He immediately set off for Wales to reunite with his wife, and on the way he was told that his boat was passing the site of the collision. As he thought of his daughters, he felt words of hope and comfort come to him, and went back to his cabin and wrote the words to the hymn.
When peace like a river attendeth my way, when sorrows like sea billows roll, whatever my lot, thou hast taught me to say, it is well with my soul.
Horatio and Anna returned to the USA, where they had 3 more children. A son who died from pneumonia aged 4, and 2 more daughters. They later travelled and settled in Jerusalem, where they lived out their lives serving those most in need. And Horatio's hymn continues to be a light that shines in the darkness to many who walk through it. In life, we know that not everything will always be well. We'll experience pain, suffering and grief, and there'll be storms that we have to weather. But because of Jesus and the hope that we have in him, we can say that it is well with my soul. If you are walking through grief, if it feels closer than your skin, or a dull ache that you just know is there, if you're feeling heavy of heart or lacking in hope, I pray that the God of all peace and comfort would fill you now, and that you would know the hope that we have in him.